Hello, everyone. So as you know by the title, I just finished watching Predator Prey. There's a lot I want to talk about, but I'm going to start off small because I don't want my emotions to take over this podcast review, because I have a lot of contentions with a lot of things, but at the same time, there is a lot that I liked. Granted, I think the stuff that I liked overtakes the stuff that I didn't like, but I will get to that later. So, first things first, let's talk about the story as a whole. I thoroughly like how they went back and talked about the upcoming, like the version of the Predator, whenever they first entered Earth's atmosphere and decided to, I guess, explore, so to speak. I like that. I feel like they could elaborate more on that as time goes on, do more prequels than anything else. The way that they went about telling the story in terms of Naru, the feral predator, and all these other people was good. I feel like they could have elaborated just a little bit more on it, because I feel like the story was there, but it was more or less just like a, okay, what's next? It's just like, find this predator or like whatever's hunting and kill it. You know? I mean, I guess that's pretty much all you really could do in terms of a story when it comes to stuff like this. But I don't know. I feel like there's some parts in the movie itself where it's like unnecessary. Like the white men. They're just kind of there. You know, they're never mentioned anywhere else except for that scene. And then they're just kind of used as a plot device for later. I also forgot to mention, this is a spoiler warning. There's gonna be a lot of spoilers in here. So if you haven't seen it, I recommend going to see it and then coming back to this, because I'm gonna go on a rant here right quick. But while also talking about the movie as a whole. So the story as a whole, I would give it like maybe a 7 out of 10. It could have been a little bit better if they elaborated more on other things. And I mean, yeah, other than that, like, besides the story, the cinematography and like the way things are perceived in the movie itself kind of just take away from the story in a good way. I mean, like, you don't really have to focus on the story. You can more or less focus on what's being shown. Like, within the first few seconds of the movie, if I remember correctly, they're showing off the landscape, the different animals, all that good stuff. Like, I like seeing that. It's pretty cool seeing how you can use the camera to your advantage to get some insane shots. And, you know, having it in the forest and all that, those scenes, they're really nice. I do like those. God, there's so much going on that I don't know what to talk about, because I want to get to my rant, but I can't do that yet. I have to talk about what was good before I can say what was bad. Okay. Yes, that is true. There's a lot more interesting things that they could have had. They could have elaborated on a whole lot more. For instance, the herbs. The herbs are something, and I don't want to get too far into it, because if I do that, I'll go into my rant. The herbs could have been elaborated on a little bit more. They kind of mentioned it here and there whenever they're in the forest, and the one dude gets mauled by a lion, and they have to find him and bring him back. They kind of elaborate on it and whatnot. She says something like, "Do you want him alive or do you want him comfortable?" I'm guessing it from what I've heard or what I saw, it's meant to slow the heart rate to the point where you feel cold, and it's like the body heat just isn't there. But they don't actually elaborate on that. Like, they don't say it straight up. You kind of just have to use context clues in order to figure it out. And I mean, I understand it, but they could have said it, you know? But they didn't. So, I mean, granted, there are some scenes where they're just like, yeah, this is basically how this works. And you're like, no, I get that. But there are parts in the movie where that whole plot device with the herbs kind of just sets up the whole plot armor for Naru, and I didn't like that. Now, the characters. The characters in the movie are actually, I would say, You know, there's like the Naru's quote-unquote friends, or like the tribesmen. They're kind of just there to be there. They're basically cannon fodder. You know, they're hunters. They're going out to try to find things, bring it back, and then, you know, go from there. The brother, I wish they would have elaborated more on his role, because he's kind of just there as the brother and then chief. He becomes chief because he kills the lion. I really wish they would have elaborated on him more, but I mean, they couldn't because they killed him off, so that's cool. I honestly wish they would have elaborated more on Naru. You know, they kind of just like, they showed you visuals and you kind of had to piece it together and whatnot. I mean, I like those kinds of movies, but I would also like to know for sure what I'm looking at, you know? Because it kind of helps. You have confirmation on things, but it didn't really do that. I mean, obviously she's part of the Comanche tribe, if I remember correctly. And, you know, she's trying to become a hunter and everything, and people don't think she can. Yada, yada, yada. All that good stuff. The scenes that are shown with the Predator are absolutely fantastic. That much I have to say, okay? Every single scene that I saw with the Predator until the last part was fantastic. You know, the CGI, the way it moved, the way everything just played out was phenomenal, okay? I genuinely, in my opinion, only watched this movie for the Predator. That was it. I watched it, I didn't watch it for anything else. Because I knew, like, in 2022, that this CGI was going to be godly. It had to be. And it was. They really focused on that. And they made it a point to be like, this is the apex predator. This is what this is meant to be. And by God, did they prove that right. On many different occasions. I'm talking with the coyote, with the bear. Oh my God. I'll get into that in a second. With, the rabbits, with the snake, with the men. Dude, that guy demolished those people. Oh, I'm gonna get into that too, but oh my God. If I saw that, I would probably shit myself. I would, because I wouldn't want to fight that thing. He was taking no prisoners. Nothing. He came to Earth to get business done. Find what he wanted, fight him, and then leave, and then dip. He did not care. And I loved that so much. That was so perfect. Seeing him take out the entire, what's it called? The entire group that Naru was with no difficulty made me astonished. You understand? Because this man brutalized these guys like there was no tomorrow. He did not care. And then after the fact, just to add salt to the wound, after he kills the guy, cuts off his feet, and stabs him into a log, he has the audacity to go with the smile on his face and look at Naru. I'm like, damn. If I was Naru, personally, I wouldn't take that level of disrespect. Granted, she couldn't do anything because she knew she couldn't. But damn, my mans was not playing around. He got in there, got business done, and stunting on everyone. And then just to make things worse, right? This man looks at him, stands up, right? And then just casually starts walking. Okay? And then in the field with the other dude who managed to survive, right? He's like, don't worry, I got him. And then Naru's like, nah, bruh. He got you. And then that's when he shoots it, but she obviously pushes him out of the way. And they start running. And the Predator's like, all right, I like this. I like you're running. This is great. This is what I trained for. And bro, the Predator is as fast as Usain Bolt, maybe even faster. My dude was charging that man down. And when he caught him, bro, he stabbed that dude like 15 times. Like, dude, you got him. You got him. Stop. You got him. But you can see the blood going everywhere. Just, I'm like, oh. Like, you got him. You got him. My dude jumped and then clunk, and just brutalized the hell out of that man and did not care. And I'm like, oh my God, bruh. And then the bear. Let me get to that bear. The bear. Oh my Lord. Okay, so I made a video on it, right? I shit you not. My exact reaction to the last scene with the bear was this. I stood up, hand on head, like I could feel it through the screen. I am not joking right now, dude. I felt it. So much so to the point where I'm like, damn, damn, damn. The amount of force. He punched the shit out of that bear's face with the power of Zeus. My man was back turned after getting mauled, got up and said, all right, I'm sick of your shit. I'm done with this. The bear charges at him. My dude sidesteps, goes under, and bow! Right hooks the hell out of this thing. And I mean the shockwave, where you could hear the crack. Just, I'm up. Like, I had to pause there for a second. I had to pause, and it was like, did that really just happen? I rewinded that scene 7 times. 7! Because it was just that good. I can't stress it enough. That punch was the most disrespectful punch I have ever seen. And the fact that it killed the bear in the process. Do you know how much force is needed to kill a bear with that amount of magnitude? A shit ton. A lot. And my man did it with one. Like, I have not seen that happen before. And that grizzly bear was not small. That dude was huge. He was big. In one punch, that's all it took. My favorite scene out of the entire movie right there. That was my favorite scene. There were a few others that were like really, really good, but this one, Nelly. Woo! I like that. That one was good. I still can't get over it. I can't get over how good that scene was. And Naru really sat there like, damn, yeah, no, I got a chance against this thing. Hell no, you don't. You telling me you can knock out a bear like that? Let alone kill it with one punch? Didn't think so. Didn't think so. And a lot of people like to say, or whenever I made the video on TikTok about it, like, oh, the bear was mauling him and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, but did you see how much damage that predator can take throughout the entire movie? That thing could be mauling him for 5 minutes and that predator still would be alive. And it would outsmart the hell out of that bear like it was nothing. Just stab it through the face. I mean, he did it later on with one of the guys, right? I mean, the dude was laughing. He just ching, and then rose up like Jesus on the third day. I shit you not. He was like this. He went. I'm not joking. He was laying down, right? And then went. I'm like, what? How did you do that? How did you do that? It was honestly, it was surprising to me because I didn't know. So there's that. And the fact that he's able to, like, and to make matters even worse, right? The guy pulls the bear in and lifts him up. That alone, you know how much a bear weighs? A ton. It weighs a lot. And this man casually just picked it up over his head. I am solely convinced that the predator wasn't trying at all throughout this entire movie. It was charity work that Naru won, on top of plot armor, okay? Plot armor in this movie was insane for her. I can't stress that enough. Anybody who says it wasn't, you're a liar. And you need to just, like, fact check yourself, because you're just wrong. Literally, I stated this before months ago. It was strictly plot. There was no way in God's name she was going to be able to win that on her own. Without a shit ton of plot. And I was right. Of course I was right. Why wouldn't I be? Because I know how this works. I know how these movies work. There was no ego involved when it came to the Predator. He did not drop his tech. Okay? He fought her with all of his weaponry. Okay? He did not see her as a worthy opponent. She even states it herself. Okay? Even her tribe thinks she's not ready, which she wasn't. That whole thing was plot. I cannot stress that enough. The ungodly amount of plot in this movie for her was insane. Dude, insane. Anyways, before I get more into that, as I said, the different scenes with the Predator were really, really good. I like the continuation of how it went from Naru and her crew to the Predator, to Naru to the Predator, and then they intertwined. I like that. They did a different scene cut, so it's not just stuck on one character the entire time. I thoroughly did like that a lot, and I don't think a lot of films do that, or they do it, but they don't do it in a really good way. But you know, just like for me personally, seeing the Predator in every single one of the scenes got me hyped. It got me real hyped because I knew how ruthless the feral predator would be. I genuinely did, and just seeing it act, the way that it worked, the way that it went about hunting its prey, was perfect. I like that a lot, and just overall, like the way the feral predator looked, dude, I can't even stress to you. The costume design was clean. The fluidity of the predator in the movie itself was fantastic. If anything, that was like, just watching that play out was perfect. I loved that. But I feel like they could have done more in terms of him being able to fight back. Because if we're being honest, right, and this can't be argued, my guy was literally just playing around. He did not care, and that shows with the white men. Let's get to that scene, okay? So, when Naru and her brother are tied up, right? The white men are trying, that's what they call them. Okay, I'm not being like, I'm white, so that's just what they call them. Okay, so let's not tweak here, all right? Not tweak. And then they, anyways, when they got tied up and they had to fight the predator, they had so many guns and so many opportunities, right? I feel like there was a little bit of plot there too. The predator kind of just walked into their territory like it's nothing. The fact that they decided to set up in a place that is foggy kind of didn't make sense to me, because it's like, well, good job, idiots. You basically just killed yourself off, because how are you going to be able to see it, right? Dude's got invisibility. You're making it foggy. You kind of just made it his own territory, and he just walked right into it, even though it's supposed to be yours. Canceled. Shut up, Luba. Shut your face. Anyways, so that happened, and then I feel like the plot device for that too also occurred, right? They kind of nerfed the predator in a sense, if you think about it, right? Think about it, right? He steps on a bear trap and just stands there, and then all the white men try to attack him, and they fail miserably. So they injure him over and over again, but it does nothing, because it's not meant to, as he's been through worse. He literally got mauled by a bear, and that's like a lot worse. And then the plot for Naru just keeps going up, tier by tier by tier by tier by tier. You got all these white men, right, shooting guns at this thing, right, and it does nothing to it. But when Naru does it, oh, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the predator as we know it. You know, one to the back of the head, considering, I don't know, that should kill him, but it didn't. Let alone he was stabbed in the heart not 5 minutes later, or 5 minutes before. So, I mean, and a lot of people will say, right, a lot of people will say, well, the predator had plot armor because, well, he was mauled, he was stabbed, he should be dead. Do you not realize that predators are meant to be the apex predator of the universe, right? They fought creatures that are much bigger than that bear, that are much smarter than humans, that are pretty much all around better. And if you know anything about predators, you will know that they can't lose. If they lose, they die. It's just the rite of passage for them. So if you keep winning, you become even better. And xenomorphs, can't be argued, would absolutely decimate a human. If we're just taking one-on-one, and they take those things out, they are meant to be, they are meant to take damage. Predators are meant to take damage. And a lot of it. A shit ton of it. How else do you think they get the scars? How else do you think they get their gear? How else do you think they get the mask? They earn it. They earn it by beating things up and taking their skull as prizes. That is how they work. They are meant to take damage. So to use that argument saying, oh, well, the Predator has plot armor because he was mauled and stabbed and shot. He's been through worse. Trust me. I guarantee you he has. Anyways, that being said, there was no plot. No plot armor for the Predator whatsoever. That was all him. That was all strictly him. Okay? Nor, on the other hand, we'll get to that soon. So during the scene within that, there are a few parts throughout it that I absolutely adored. All right, it was funny. All right, there's like he'll pick him up, he'll like stab him, he'll do these other things. I don't remember exactly how it like started, so to speak, but the fact that he would like jump through trees to get to where he needed to be was very interesting. He used used the environment to his advantage, because if you've watched Predators 2, you'll know that they're on the home world. The humans are on the home world of the Yautjas. I didn't really like that movie, but that's beside the point. So they have terrains that are similar to Earth, right? Even though this is the very first Predator on Earth to like observe, it did pretty well for what it had available to him, because mainly I'm thinking it's just like the one in his home world, Yautja Prime. Same thing with Xenomorph Prime. It's the exact same thing. So of course he was able to use his environment to his advantage because it's the exact same. I think there's going to be like some sort of backstory to it all, and it's going to explain like, oh yeah, the Yautja's world is similar to this one, because if it's still in the continuality of the Predator series as a whole, then it still would hold true, right? The Predators movie with the different worlds that are akin to the Predators, it really wouldn't change anything because it's still the exact same. So yeah, even though it was on Earth, it would still have that kind of tenacity and know-how of how to navigate the Earth, so to speak. They're literally hunters. They're hunters just like the Comanche people. Like, there's really no difference there besides the Yautja being just infinitely better in almost everything. So, there's that. The scene where the, what is it? Where he's like walking casually, right? Over to this one guy, and he just like shoots off different things at people. He just throws knives, throws these discs, and kills people. And then there's one where he takes he kills one dude, and then another guy walks up on him, right? Pulls out a small knife, and the Predator looks at him like, "Are you serious? Are you serious, my brother?" Takes the bear trap, flips it in his hand, and chunks it at the dude's head and kills him immediately. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, damn, bro. You really just saw like 3 of your friends get killed, and you're over here thinking you have a chance with a small knife? Really? I know that the Predator's like, this is an embarrassment, bro. I don't even, why? And then after that, that one where he has that dude up against the tree, right? And that dude tries to hit him with a knife, or like with the axe, and he catches it, flips it up, and stabs the dude. I'm like, dude, he didn't even look. He literally did this. He went side-eyed, he caught it, flipped it, and stabbed the dude. I'm like, bro, my dude is cool. Sigma Predator. That dude did not care. He was there for blood, and blood only. Dude, that was so cool. Bro, that was like the coolest side-eye ever. It was so nice. And after that one dude, when he got pinned up against the wall and he had like the shield come out of his arm, he was just there. And he looks at him, right? And the dude tries to stab him and it doesn't work. Or maybe it does work. And then he undoes the shield and it cuts his head off along with the tree. And then he just stands there, looks at him and looks down and then just like laughs a little bit and then goes back. I'm like, I was like, dude, the Yautja was ruthless, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it. That is what a Yautja is meant to be: cocky, arrogant, egotistical, and he can back it up because he knows how to fight. That is what I want to see. That is what I want to see in a Predator movie, and they did that perfectly. Gotta give praise where praise is due. I have to. They did that perfectly. So well. Ah! And then after that... Wait, what happened after that? Shit. Oh yeah, no. He takes out everybody. He takes out everybody, and then Naru manages to get away. The weird thing that I liked the most about it was that last part in the foggy area was with the discs. I don't think I'd ever seen that before. Maybe I'd seen it like once or twice in like the Mortal Kombat game, but the way that they implemented that, like he purposely let it off of his wrist, and they were like really cocky about it. That one dude is like, nah, I know what this is. I'm finna back up. That was the only person who was smart enough to do it. The way that it worked, like it zoomed out to Naru's POV, leaving the forest before we even saw what it did, and it's just like giant flashes and you could hear it, and I'm not sure what it really did. I'm not sure if it exploded, because if it exploded you would definitely see it, but if anything I think it was like a shockwave. I'm not sure what it was. I think we saw a little bit of the parts of it after the fact, whenever the predator was still there and everyone was dead. I was like, what are these? I was very confused because I had never seen those before, but they obviously got the job done, so I mean it is what it is. Is he officially the top G? Absolutely. Bro, the Pharaoh Predator does not play around. My guy knows what's up. And dear God, did he execute perfectly. Okay, now... And then after that, when they go back to the white men camp, Naru pulls out these moves and whatnot that we've never seen before. I'm not really sure where they came from. She kills off like 4 different people with her throwing knife that she never uses for the rest of the movie at all. It's like we see her do this. Like, I'm going on another rant, but this is completely different from everything else. She has this axe that she ties a rope around, right? She throws it at trees to make it seem like this is going to be a big indicator in this movie, only for it not to be. She uses it like maybe once against the predator, and that's it. Other than that, it's kind of just there to be there. It's like you can't give that thing screen time for it not to have a purpose later on. Like, that doesn't make sense. There's like a loose end right there. It's like, I felt like that was supposed to be like, okay, so that's probably what's going to kill the predator. No. Not at all. I don't know why it wasn't used. So there's that. What else? During the scene with Naru taking out the people, she encounters her brother, and this is another stupid plot point, bro. Like, the predator has her on the ropes, right? But her brother comes in with the horse last minute and stabs him with a spear, and he's about to like stab her, but then I get stabbed, and now I'm gonna throw it off elsewhere. That, or it was the dog. This is later on in the movie, but something happened, and like he gets like, oh no, I guess I can't kill you now because I've been stabbed. He was stabbed like through the shoulder right here. We're like, actually no, it was right here, and he pulls it out, right, and then starts using it, and then apparently her and her brother start like, I guess, putting the predator on the ropes, kind of, but the predator wasn't even really trying. You could tell in his face that he was not trying. He's kind of just there to do it. And I feel like if you've got as much accuracy with like a lot of your other things, like with the predator, how are you not able to hit the people? You know, that's one of the biggest issues I had throughout the entire movie. He had accuracy, but whenever it came to like, I don't know, fighting a few people here and there, it was like there was no accuracy there at all. It's the same thing with Naru in a sense. It's like, unless it's absolutely needed, that's when the accuracy kicks in. Because she tried throwing her axe with the string on it whenever she was sinking in mud, and it didn't work at first. She tried it 4 different times, and the 5th time, that's when it finally worked, right? And then the mud and everything, that played a part in it, kind of, and like the whole movie thing. The mud played more of a part than the axe did. Like, I didn't understand that. It was stupid. So, the scene where the predator just melted the wolf's skin off its skull was brutal. That is very true. I forgot that scene. Thanks for reminding me. That was actually really cool. I had never really fully understood how they were able to like clean the bones so perfectly to make it like to hang it up in the ship or like on your belt. But now I know it's like some sort of like freezing thing that they use with like the wrists, or is it on the top? I don't know. And they just like they basically get rid of all of the skin and everything on it, and it's just the bone and whatnot. I'm like, oh, okay, that's really interesting. But now I know. And another thing, oh my god, that one scene in the forest. I know I'm bouncing around here. I'm sorry. My ADHD does this. That one scene when the invisibility is going on and off, and then they show the Predator and he yells. Dude, that was so cool. The soundtrack for that, the cinematography for that was superb. Let me elaborate on that more. Superb in the sense that you could see the Predator for what it was, the Yautja for what it was, a menacing thing. Like, you look at that and you're like, ah, damn, I'm finna get killed. Like, I'm not joking. That thing looks so cool to look at. It was like, damn. I paused the movie to observe what it looked like for like a good 3 minutes. Like, I like this. Like, all the details, the coloring, the, excuse me, the mask detail, all of it looked amazing. It looks, I can't stress it enough. They did a phenomenal job making this Predator. They did a phenomenal job with CG, the different costumes, all of it. And my dude had like a 12-pack. 12-pack. I wouldn't want to fight somebody with a 12-pack. He's been doing training that I've never even heard before. It freaked me out. Anyways. So after that, back to the white man camp. They're putting the Predator on the ropes, quote unquote, because the Predator technically wasn't trying from what I saw throughout the entire movie. Put him on the ropes, and then they just stop because it turns on invisibility, right? And then the brother's just like, it thinks I'm a threat, not you. And she's like, so, I'm kidding, she didn't actually do that, but internally she was. And this man just stands there and takes it. He's like, yeah, they're after me, not you. And then Nar's just standing there like, with the gun and everything, and then her brother gets stabbed and then just dropped, and then the Predator tries to attack Naru, and then her brother like uses the wolf skull and stabs him, and he's like, man, what the fuck, and then just stabs him in like in the face with the spear and everything, and she's just like, okay, and then walks off or like runs off or something like that. So then there's that scene. The emotional value behind it all, I don't know. I didn't really feel like it was there. Like I understand that it was a sad scene, but I didn't feel anything from it. Like I didn't really like connect with any of the characters. I connected with the Yautja more than anything else. I connected with the Yautja more than I did Naru. I really did. That sounds weird considering the Predator didn't even talk, but I connected more with him than anything else. And yeah, there's that. And then after that, when they find the other white man, and it leads into the next fight sequence, this is where things really start to piss me off. Okay, before I get into the story, and before I get into anything else, I just want to let it be known that I absolutely loved the cinematography behind this. I loved the pacing, kind of, until this part I'm about to talk about. Everything from that part behind was phenomenal. Okay, there were no like unneeded scenes. There was no filler, so to speak. You kind of got to know the characters a little bit, not too much because I didn't really feel anything for the characters. Not so much intelligence. Yeah, I feel like, okay, so before I continue, the intelligence aspect behind this Yautja honestly really wasn't there. It was, I mean, it had like tactical intelligence, it had like hunting intelligence, as a Predator should, so to speak, when it comes to this kind of stuff. But yeah, no, the intelligence behind how to like I guess, fight, in a sense, kind of wasn't there. I mean, it was, but it wasn't as good as it should have been. I really don't know the word to use for it, but like, it was there, but it wasn't. There's a lot of things that could have been fixed with the Predator in terms of intelligence, because it had everything else, pretty much. Like, it was set to go. And I don't know, it was like, I'm not sure. I'll have to think. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to it. But after that, as I said, everything before this certain scene I'm about to talk about, or scenes I'm about to talk about, was great. I did like it. The pacing, cinematography, soundtrack, all of it, fantastic. It was great. Now, once the main white dude who captured Naru is killed by the Predator, or right before it, just doesn't make any damn sense to me. So they elaborate a little bit. I'm getting into my rant now. Okay, I'm getting into my rant, right? Bear with me. When they talk about the herbs, the ones that are around her neck, when they talk about the herbs just a little bit, you are led to believe that it slows down the heart rate or your body heat enough to keep you alive if you are in grave danger, right? And they said if you use too much, you will die, right? So I'm not really sure why they did that, considering you can't really see how much is being taken by people. Maybe like a few times, but nothing like how much. How do you quantify that? How do you quantify enough being too much? You know, they didn't really show that. So she takes some, and magically, this is where the plot armor comes in, and this is the biggest amount of plot armor I've ever seen in my entire life. She takes it. She states to the white man, he's after me, but you don't realize that you're the one who's dying here. And she, by chance, you understand, takes it, and magically the Predator doesn't even notice she's there. Let alone, we see the scene immediately afterwards where the Predator is able to see lifeless bodies with heat. Are you telling me that those herbs are meant to take everything out? You don't have any body heat, because if you don't have any body heat, you're dead. Humans aren't built to have no body heat. Our body will struggle to survive. That is how that works. It's the same thing with passing out. You have to have body heat, or else you will die. The fact, and on top of that, he could literally see the outlines of dead bodies with barely any body heat. So you're telling me, okay? You're telling me that when he walked by Naru, he could not hear, smell, or see her? What kind of bullshit is that? Even with it, like even before with the dude who had his leg cut off, he could see that dude was there. There was an outline. Okay? Regardless of if she's a threat or not, she literally tried killing him. So he knows that she's doing that, regardless of if he sees her as a threat. And it just didn't make sense to me. Like, you still see her. Like, why not do anything? Like, how many times has she tried to kill you throughout this entire movie? Or at least harm you in some way? I don't get it. And even if that's the case, it's like, oh, I didn't see her as a threat, then she was never a threat to begin with. He still didn't see it as a threat. Even after the fact, when the Predator was killed, he still didn't see her as a threat, because she wasn't. The only thing that was a threat here was her plot armor. You cannot tell me otherwise. That plot armor carried her hard. I can't stress that enough. So the fact that he just walked by her, completely ignores her, it doesn't show that it actually saw her, because you could see in like the face thing that she wasn't even like there. She completely ignores her, and then she shoots him in the back of the head. She tried using the gun earlier, and it didn't work. And then she does that, and then all of a sudden, oh, that is what gets him to be like, oh my goodness, I can't. Never mind that he was mauled by a bear, shot multiple times by different white men, and didn't flinch. But this. Oh, no. This to the back of the head. And it didn't even kill him. It didn't kill him or anything like that. But that's what did it. Never mind, he was stabbed close to the heart as well. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then after that, right, she takes the mask, sets it up in a trap area, right? She sets sticks up and everything, yada, 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 all that good stuff. The Predator comes in. It's like, as soon as he loses his mask, if you know anything about the Predator movies, right, even without the mask, it still should be able to fight. Even when it's got the ego, right? When the ego comes in, it takes off its mask so it can fight you head on. That's when it's taking it seriously. Granted, this guy did not do that intentionally. It was shot off his face, but he should still be able to fight. He should still know where things are. The Predator is able to smell. You understand? So how is he not able to know that Nara was in a tree above him? I don't get that. And then on top of that, Nara's just there, like, throwing haymakers and throwing things, and she's on the ropes multiple times. She gets hit in the face twice with the same shield that decapitated a dude and cut a tree down. Yet it's not able to get through a rock? What kind of plot armor is that? It's just armor. Plot armor on top of plot armor on top of plot armor on top of plot armor. It's plot stupidity. She gets whacked twice with that thing. Yet it does nothing. And then she gets slammed, choked out, and somehow she's able to get out of that. And then there's one part where the Predator has the spear, about to kill her, and then the dog jumps up on the back and it's like, and then throws the spear elsewhere. Are you kidding me? Really? A dog is what's going to discombobulate like that? Really? The bear couldn't even do that. But a dog. Again, I'm telling you, it's plot. It's all plot. It's all it ever was. She didn't stand a chance before, but they rushed that last scene. They rushed that entire last fight sequence. They did. That can't be argued. They needed to get rid of it. They made him overpowered, so they had to just, gotta flip the script now. So dumb. And then, on top of that, it gets trapped in the mud pit, right? Now, personally, I thought it was pretty cool when it was in the mud pit and it slowly started raising its head and just stood there. Also, that's another thing. It just stood there and took it. It didn't do anything. You just let Naru and that's also leading on to my point. It never saw her as a threat. Never did. Rightfully so, because that man just stood there and took that beating. Just, I knew damn well she still wasn't a threat. Because in the end, she didn't kill it. Its own tech killed it. She didn't do anything. It taken worse beatings beforehand. I don't get it. And then, miraculously, the Predator's helmet beam goes off, which doesn't make any sense as it just activates out of nowhere. Again, another plot device. Oh, wow, they're just everywhere at this point. Only he can activate it. She doesn't know how that thing works. She just picked it up like 3 minutes ago and just set it down on a rock. And all of a sudden, it's just on. There's no way you can explain that scene to me. I can't even explain it because it doesn't make any sense. Nothing can explain that. She never once put it on. She never once activated it. She just set it down and it just miraculously went off whenever it was conveniently needed. And that's what killed him. I don't get it. And the fact that his arm was cut off, also plot. That was something else. And the fact that he stayed up and took that beating. Round of applause. Respect for the Yautja, man. Feral Predator, you had my respect. You took the worst beating known to man and you still stood up. I honestly don't. I don't believe that Naru beat him, because she didn't. She didn't. That was strictly plot. Plot beat him, not her. Plot beat him, not her. I stand by what I said all those months ago, that she would need an ungodly amount of plot in order to win. The difference between the Predator and her are astronomically high, and that proved it. The movie literally proved my point. Everyone who said I was wrong, you all are incorrect. Every single one of you. I do not care what arguments you have. That was all plot. Every single bit of it in that last fight. None of it made sense. She should not have been able to have the upper hand. I stand by that. She should not have won. I don't care what excuse you have. If it's a prototype Predator, which it was not, she should not have won. And I stand by that. I stand by that. It should have ended as soon as she was hit in the face with that shield. The same shield that was able to decapitate a man and cut down a tree with ease. Should have been over. But no. She's apparently more durable than a grizzly bear, apparently. After being body slammed. She's more durable than a bear. Crazy. Because that makes sense. Like, she didn't even use any of her hunting skills to her advantage. That was all plot. All of it. She maybe, like, the scene before, right? The scene before where she kills all the white men. She's actually pulling out these moves, right? But in the scene with the Predator, she doesn't do any of that. She barely does anything. She uses, like, the traps that she made to her advantage. And they weren't even that good. Like, the Predator literally, like, went from the tree, stabbed it, got stabbed by that, and just kept going. It did not care. Those traps did nothing. I don't, like, that whole fight was just... It's hard for me to, like, comprehend it because it didn't make any sense. All of it was plot. It's plot stupidity. The entire thing. The whole 9 yards. Anybody who disagrees, you're wrong. That was not Naru's skill. That was not plot armor. It was all plot armor. All of it. The Feral Predator should have easily won that, as he literally went up against things that were more powerful than she was. Things that had better weaponry than she did. He literally went up against her brother, who was better than her, and the Predator still won, even with the tag team. Like, a lot of people will say, like, oh, he's got invisibility. Okay, is that his fault that he came better prepared? No, it's not. That's not his fault. Deal with it. Just be better prepared next time. Like, what? That plot carried you. It carried you. That's my rant on that. Okay? Other than that, the fight scene was, like, fine. Like, the coordination was good and all. The cinematography, what is it? The camera angles. Great. I just hated the way it played out, because it didn't make sense. It pisses me off, bro. It makes me angry. It makes me angry. But to be honest, Wilper, he didn't get outsmarted. He did not get outsmarted at all. That was all plot. He was not outsmarted in any way, shape, or form. Because I already explained it. I explained how it wasn't outsmarting. It was all plot. The herbs, you should still be able to see an outline. You should still be able to see body heat. It doesn't take everything out. Because even people who are dead have body heat. And you can still see the outline of them. Same thing with the dude who took some. I'm just saying. It's all plot induced. I gotta stop saying plot. I keep saying it. Ugh. But other than that, like, the movie as a whole, right? I give it, I already rated this on TikTok, 6.5 out of 7. Out of 10. 6.5, 7 out of 10. Maybe even 8. Highballed 8. Only reason for that is because of that last scene. that last fight scene really put me on edge. That plot stupidity I did not like that. Did not like that. At least with the other ones, it actually makes sense. With the other ones, it makes sense as to why the Predator lost. That makes sense. Even with Mud. Mud is actually considered, in the first Predator, Mud is actually considered to lower the body heat, right? You still be able to see him, though. And if I remember correctly, the Predator didn't have the mask on. He didn't have the mask on. And even so, you'd still be able to, like, see that they're there. She had no chance whatsoever. That's what I'm saying. Yet somehow they gave it to her. And it's like, man, whatever. They just had to find a way for her to win. They had to. They had to. And, I mean, in the end, it is what it is, but, like, that last fight scene could have been better coordinated, in my opinion. I feel like it would have been better if the Predator saw her as a threat to actually take it seriously. If anything, the only thing, or only two things, that the Predator saw as a threat. One was her brother, who he states was a threat to him, or vice versa, but debatable, because that's just his interpretation of it. Because we don't know for sure if the Predator thought it was, because it was just killing willy-nilly because it just felt like it. That's basically how they work. And the bear. The bear was the only contender throughout this entire thing. The only thing that might have been an actual threat. Because think about it, right? How many times throughout the entire film did you actually see the Predator take the fight seriously? Like how it did with the bear. That punch, or that kick, or that hit was far stronger than anything it had produced throughout the entire movie. Far stronger. I'm just saying, like, put it into perspective here. What else was a threat to that Predator besides that bear? And a lot of people say because the Predator did not see Naru as a threat, that was ego. No, it just knew that she was not something that he had to worry about. Even after the fact, even after he was killed, he knew that wasn't the case because it was all just plot. It was literally all just plot. I'm almost positive the Yautja knew it was plot. It's like, damn, bro, she ain't a threat, but I'm gonna die anyways because she gotta win somehow. You know? So it's like, it would have been better. It would have been better, right? If the Yautja halfway through the fight realized, okay, now you are a threat, or you know, something like that. It's like, okay, yeah, all right, I see what you're doing, but it could have been coordinated better in order to prove that, but it wasn't. So he never saw her as a threat, even then. So if the Predator saw her as a threat, that'd be a different story. Then he would have tried, but even if he tried, it still wouldn't have been enough for her. And I don't even think the plot would have saved her for that. But it had to. It had to. You could also say that the injuries had something to do with it, because, like, he was shot in the head, he was stabbed in the shoulder, he was cut, he was stabbed more, he was shot in other places, so, and he had his tusk removed. That was another thing. Oh, let me remove the tusk. She just pulled that off like it was nothing, and it's like no force. I don't get that. And that was another plot device. It's like, oh yeah, then I can get out that way. So injuries would definitely play a part in that, because eventually it's going to get to the point where you could take as many beatings as possible. Same thing with like boxing or MMA fights. You can be hit as much as possible and may not go down. You have the tenacity for it, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. And once it does, it's going to hit you hard. And that's why I think he wasn't able to fight back. But even so, he was still standing and he was still able to do something. It wasn't as much, but yeah, I guess you could put it in this perspective. You could put it in this perspective. This seems to be the most logical. If you don't want to say plot or anything like that, it's like, it doesn't work that way. Put it like this. My man went through so many different fights with different animals and people that his injuries put him out of commission before she ever did. So that's the only way she was able to actually stand a chance. The injuries took him out before she was able to. If he didn't have injuries, it would have been over immediately. As we have seen, as I said, how he's able to fight against all these different creatures. The bear being one of them. So, if you don't want to say plot, you can go with that. Regardless, it still should go to the Predator. Just putting that out there. You know, so overall, I did like the movie a lot. I really did. I want to see more movies just like this, actually, with like the Predator being as ruthless as he was, because that's what a Predator's meant to be. What it's meant to be, baby. No taking prisoners. Nothing like that. We getting the job done. Be over with it. If you're a threat, you're a threat. If you're not, you're not. And I like how he stuck to that. He stuck to that. He literally said, "You're not a threat. All right, I'm not gonna waste my time on you." And then the one with, I'm gonna go back a little bit. There's also another plot-based thing where she gets trapped in a bear trap, right? The Predator's there about to kill her, and he just stands there and does nothing. It's like, all right, whatever. It is what it is. And the white men come and like knock her out or whatnot. So that was another plot thing. But well, other than that, I really did like this movie. Do I think it held up to the first movie? I would say that the kills were better, but the way that people were killed was better in the first movie. Because they wanted it to be an homage to the first movie as a whole. But I would say that the kills that were produced, or how they were done, were better in the first one than in this one. This one had more like, I guess, fluidity and like thought behind the kills, kind of. But it can be honestly argued either side. But I'd personally say that the first movie had better gruesome kills. This one just had like the technique down, if that makes sense. And I'm completely okay with that. Like they did exceed in the killing area. And I like that. I like it because that's how it's supposed to be. That is how it is meant to be. Another thing that I heard a lot of, we'll go over what I heard and how like the things within the movie itself, and then like what I want to see afterwards. But like that the mask was a xenomorph mask. It didn't look like one, but they might actually be right about that. I'm not really sure because there's a comic based on the movie itself. I think it's a bit different than before, or it's different from the actual movie. But the mask, I think, if it is a xenomorph, then that could literally like, I don't know why they keep, excuse my French, why they keep blueballing us in terms of the Alien versus Predator like series. Like, why is it not canon? If you keep teasing us like this with all these different xenomorphs being in the Predator series, well, why do you keep teasing us like this? There's no need for that. Like, literally just introduce it, make it canon, voila. But no, you're just not. I mean, I don't think it's ever mentioned once in the Alien series that the Predators are canon to the actual universe, but in the Predator series, they are canon. Granted, they've never actually seen one, like, you know, in person, seen like the skulls or whatnot, and it's like, make it make sense. Like, stop doing that and just introduce it. It would make more sense that way, but of course they're not going to do that. I don't know why, but they just won't. So if it is a xenomorph mask, that opens a lot of doors. It really does. But I'm not sure how they're gonna make that work, in a sense. I really want to see more, like, for instance, like this took place, if I remember correctly, in like 1117, really early back in the day, like really early. From what I saw, because like based on the guns and everything, the tribe, this was way far back in the day. So this like takes place hundreds of years before the first Predator. So there is room to like make another movie, like, I don't know, medieval times, or like, I don't know, a few other Renaissance era type. That'd be kind of cool though. Make it like a Shakespeare. Actually, no, I'm not gonna give them ideas. I'm not giving you ideas because that'd be terrible. No, we're not doing that. So there's a possibility to put one in there and make it as good as the last, right? How like a Predator go into like a city and just decimate everybody. I would be like, that's like, maybe the Predator's actually Jack the Ripper. Who knows? You could make it work. but we've never seen any like news reports on it in the other movies, so we don't know for sure, right? And I don't know, man. It's a possibility. Be like all these different like well-known people back in the day, like, oh, this guy did this, and this, and you know, slaughtered all this stuff, and it's like maybe the Black Plague was actually a Yautja that killed off a bunch of people, but they just kind of covered it up or something. I don't know. It's a possibility. I'm just putting ideas out there, all right? Because they have a lot of room from, again, where Prey happened all the way up to the first Predator movie. So they have the opportunity. They do. Other than that, there's a lot of things that I feel they could have done better in this movie. Genuinely. But I mean, overall, I'm not the one, you know, making the movie and whatnot. It was good, but I feel like it could have been better as a whole. So again, you already know my rating and whatnot. It's like 6.5, 7 out of 10. The main thing I like the most about this film were the kills and the Yautja as a whole. That was superb. I love that. The bear almost killed him. Not even. Literally, that thing could be mauled for 5 whole minutes and it still wouldn't die. It went through a shit ton more damage later on in the film. That bear didn't stand a chance, even when it laid eyes on him. Yeah, nah. That bear would have been outsmarted immediately. Would have been stabbed through the skull like that one guy did. The bear did not almost kill him. Not even close. The Yautja got up like it was nothing and then rocked the shit out of that bear's face. I'm just saying, it wasn't even close to killing him. Alright, anyways, so that is the Predator Prey movie review. I, again, really liked it. I hope to see more in the future. I feel like there's a lot they can improve on in terms of how the story plays out. I just want to see one where the Predator wins, man. That's all I care about. I just want to see one where the Predator wins. Like, they don't do enough. They don't do enough for it. Because I'm only there for the Yautja itself. I don't care about the people. Unless I actually like the person. You know? It's like, unless I actually feel something for the person. And like the story makes me want to feel for the person to win. I didn't feel that in this one. I was like, okay, you're kind of just there. I want the Predator to win, though. So, you know, there's that. And then... what is it? I don't know. I feel like this one compared to, you know, the 2018 Predator, a hell of a lot better. All right, we don't talk about the 2018 Predator movie. That was, but I feel like they're gonna continue that somehow, and I don't know why they would. So yeah, that was my review. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna put this up on YouTube as soon as I can. And yeah, I will talk to you all in the next one.